But yes, the idea will be get a contract board up and running so that I can contract people to use labor. I won't need pottery or masonry labor, but anything that outside of that, for example, logging labor is required. You've got to be level 6 logger in order to make charcoal. You have to use it in a kiln, and I can make the kilns available and the resources to make the charcoal. But I will make a contract for the logging 6 labor. And that way, someone has the time and the calories, they can pop over and do a little bit of work there, and it'll convert the logs that the shop will buy into charcoal, which will then be sold. And charcoal is a particularly good resource, good fuel source. So hopefully this will help people out, and so on and so forth. Likewise, what I'll probably do is I'll have because of the way you balance the position of a stockpile in a workbench's interface, I'll quickly show you what I mean. Oh, once the lag is gone. There we go. Now, if you have a look in here, the storages, I've got a bunch of storages here. Storage chest, wooden cart, stockpile. Depending on how I move these around, so for example, if I put the wooden cart up there, if this crafting bench produces something that'll fit in the wooden cart and there is room for it, it'll go in there first. If not, it'll look to the next one, and it'll look to the next one, and look to the next one. What I can do is I can have the kilns. I'm thinking I'll start with 2 kilns to begin with. I'll have them have each other as their top storage position. So when they produce charcoal, they'll try and put it in the kiln. If there's room for more fuel in that kiln, so they'll basically, it's kind of like using burner miner drills in Factorio facing each other. So they're loading each other up with the coal and then building up a stockpile. So they are always producing. And that way the kilns will work in the same way. As they produce more charcoal, they will load the charcoal into the other kiln if there's room for it. And that way, and after the initial build up of filling themselves up with charcoal, they will then be just dumping that charcoal into the next available stockpile, which will be a specific place for saleable charcoal. And then that will be available to the server. And I'm just wondering why you want charcoal over coal, because trees are renewable. Coal is not. I mean, it is renewable. It's just renewable on a significantly larger cycle than 3 to 5 days. Much, much longer. Charcoal can also be held in a storage chest, from what I understand, because charcoal is a small resource. Coal is an ore resource. So I believe, I'm not actually sure if, let me have a think. Like this over here, this is a stone resource, but you carry on your shovel. It's loose rock. I don't know if coal is used in the same way. Someone will have to correct me in chat about this one. So for example, whomp, like this, I've got... I could probably stack this up to 10 or maybe 20 if the game is especially generous with me on my shovel. But usually shovel-held objects can only be stacked to 10. And like when you're digging them up, you can only dig up one at a time. But if you put them in a cart or a stockpile first, then you can withdraw them in stacks of 10 and carry them around. Stones, for example, you mine them and a block breaks into 4 pieces, and then you pick up those 4 pieces. You can hold 20 before you have to drop them off. Charcoal, you can hold 100 in a slot, because unlike this, which is a carry-only resource, I have to carry it, and now I can't do anything else because I have to have my tool out. And stone, which I'm basically walking around with arms full of 20 rocks, which, to be fair, every character in Eco is ridiculously buff, because that is no small feat. But I believe that charcoal, if you can put charcoal into stacks of 100 and they can be stored in the storage chest, then it means they can be held in stacks of 100 on your hotbar. So you can move enormous quantities of charcoal around. Oh, that would be incredibly kind of you, Rathalos. But yeah, hopefully this will be a really useful kind of like public service building. It'll allow people to easily get access to a tier 2 building resource, because the kilns will also be building brick. And, people will be able to sell clay to it, sell sand to it, sell, because I'd use the sand to make the mason's mortar, and then the clay would be clay and mortar to make brick. The kilns will use fuel, but the kilns will also produce fuel for those who just want the fuel. For example, if they're trying to fire their smithies or their forges, so on and so forth. Hopefully it'll be a cool little system. Let's go ahead and help the server out a little bit by chopping and clearing up this debris. It's also 1 kilo instead of 20 kilos, yes. I have no idea what the relative weight of the stack is in general. Like if that's potential, you can carry 100 kilos of charcoal versus 20 kilos of coal, but we'll have to see. Either way, though, it's an easily acquirable resource. There will be coal seams, but trees grow everywhere. And if you're lucky enough to have a coal seam, and easy access to coal, then you're going to be sitting pretty. But if you don't, but you want a resource that is a little bit less time consuming than having to go out and chop down trees all the time, and then charcoal will be a nice alternative. That's the way I'm thinking about it anyway. It burns for a lot longer as well. So a stack of charcoal in a brazier, for example, will burn for days and 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 days. Whereas several stacks of wood, like 2 full stacks of 20, will burn for a few days. So, it's a bit of a labor-saving device as well, in a way. We're going to use this to build this up. I will probably build a multi-story building. I'm a big fan of multi-story buildings because it makes the best use out of the claims themselves. And also allows you to have very easy access to the stockpiles. What I could do is I could have the shop built up on the top level, and then stockpiles underneath the shop. So the stores will be able to reach the stockpiles and put things into and take things out of the stockpiles, and the kilns and stuff like that will be built below those stockpiles. They'll be able to put in and take out and so on and so forth, and it'll all kind of work together. Hopefully, we'll see. It's a big project, but I think this is one of those things that I just really like. I think I was talking about Saga of Rhizome on the last stream a little bit. I only really touched on it, but one of the things I loved about doing that is I just kept a character in Newbie Lands. I never really I had a character that I took out of the tutorial zone, the newbie island, as it were, but I just enjoyed being able to help. Like there was some required, like you didn't have to do any of the quests, you could just leave whenever you wanted. But for those who wanted to do all of the quests, there was some boss quests and some harvesting quests, and having a character that was not quite as squishy, be able to do boss runs with was quite nice. I'd more or less just sit on the side of the camp, and if I saw a party get completely wiped, I'd just move in and heal them. And if they wanted to then, just try again, I just, help heal them all up to full and then just sit back again. But I actually found it completely cathartic. I would just spend a few hours doing that sometimes. Obviously, if they wanted me to help out, I'd be happy to. But I figured that most people would want to do it themselves, honestly. But just having someone there so that it wasn't a complete wipe and then have to walk all the way back to the boss was sometimes more than enough. Clay. Marvelous. Excellent. Okay, perfectly. I was a little bit hoping that we'd be able to expose some clay doing this as well, because that will be an initial massive stockpile of bricks. Again, bricks are a tier 2 building resource, much like lumber, versus just hewn logs or mortared stone. And certain buildings, for example, the cook's oven, requires to be built in a room of above tier 1 quality. And so the walls, a certain amount of the walls need to be a higher tier building material for that room to count for that that purpose. 64-bit robot. What game is Aavak talking about? Saga of Rhizome, a super old MMO, still around though. It's been it went through. Oh my lord, Saga of Rhizome went through a journey. Have I dropped that off? Oh, inventory is too heavy. Fair enough. Dunk. Can I drop that off? Oh no, now I'm lagging. There we go. Let's open this up. Shunt all of this down. Oh, of course, wood stacks to very small amounts. That's a shame. Let's get all of this in there. I wonder what I can do with all of this dirt. Is there anything else I could do with it? I wonder. I think you can use it for a couple of things. Let's see. Dirt. What can you be made into? Dirt ramps, agricultural research papers, fiber filler recipe, pulp filler recipe, farmer's table. Yeah, it's using the farmer's table for a bunch of things. But otherwise, just ramps. It's made at a workbench. What's the second one made at? Wainwright table. Okay. Not things that I can do. Hey, Aavak, when are you doing some more Oni content? Pretty soon, I imagine. Rhizome? Man, I played that for a while, like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a super old MMO. It's one of the first ones I ever played. Back in the day, okay, I think now you can effectively play it for free, or you can be subscribed to it. Either or really will work. But it was, yeah, I just love the art style. It was a very French feeling art style, which makes sense because it was a French dev team. But yeah, I really liked it. I really loved the idea of it. The planet, the living planet of Attis. Basically a massive, like, metal was completely unknown because the planet was literally a ball of, it was basically a tree. Massive branches in the sky. And as you went down into the caves were the root system of the living planet. It was such a cool game. Such a cool game. All right, okay, so I'm filling this stockpile up with dirt. What I can do over here, I suppose, is... Yeah, actually, I can... Oh, I need to repair my shovel first. What do I need to repair that with? Probably wood. Yeah, wood. Okay, so I'll be right back. Come here, tree. Hello, Terraria Master. How you doing, mate? Can I blackmail my neighbors with the dirt? Ah, you've been watching me play too much Crusader Kings. Yeah, I'm doing good, Terraria Master. Thank you for asking. Now I've got to clean up all the pulp. Then plant all the trees. It's tiresome to lead by example, but someone's got to do it. Any more debris around here? That was a shockingly small amount of debris, to be fair. Huh. Okay, fair enough. Not much wood pulp there. 3 acorns in total. Just grab all of this if we can. Eventually, I'll probably grab a bit of a couple of carcasses to go sell at She-Labs to make a bit more food. But I should be fine for now. I say as I look down and see that I've almost got no calories left. Right, let me go and plant these acorns. Outside of my lot, though. Who dat? Oak, thank you very much for the resub. 33 months in a row. Diolch yn fawr, buddy. How are you doing? There we go. And one over here as well. There we are. Sorted. And let's go and repair my shovel. Aavak, if you hold shift while digging from one inventory to drag from one inventory to another, it moves all of them. Just learned that from another player. Yes. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. You know what? That's so silly of me because I've seen Bellinair do that loads. But I hadn't made the connection yet because I'm a dumb. Thank you. Right, let's, you know what? Let's move all of this back down into the cart. Then move these in stacks of 10 out of the cart. So I can build this area up. I'm making more work for myself in the long run because I'm gonna have to build it down as I excavate this area, but for the time being, let's just get a shop on the surface. Oh, thank you so much, the coal there. Whomp. That was fantastically generous of you. Thank you. That was absolutely fantastically generous of you. I hope I didn't just steal that coal. Oh, that is a fantastically nice addition there, Nobo. Thank you very much for doing that. Hey, Sheelab. Womp. Womp. How's it going? I know I just nuked the tomatoes, my bad. I should have harvested them first. I think I'll get going now. I hope that you all have a wonderful stream and a wonderful day. Oh, thank you very much, Hollow Soul. Take care, mate. Aavak, let me into your stockpile. Oh, yeah. I need to make this available to everyone. Hold it. Pop. Whilst I'm building, it is available to all. Let me move that. A bit of dirt out of there. Donk. But having a nice, larger area for me to place my stockpiles is going to be super useful to me. Thank you, Sheelab. Yum, yum, yum. Field campfire stews. Oh, carbs, yes. This is the only time you will ever hear me say that. Because in real life, I'm like, no, carbs. There we go. And the last little bit. Out there as well. Okay, perfect. Really? Why are you growing there? I only just flattened that area, you scallywag. Yeah, this is definitely a game for people who find it cathartic to do these sorts of building tasks. If you're the sort of person who enjoys Minecraft and just, you know, taking your time building your stuff, sculpting the land, you're probably going to enjoy this. In fact, as someone who does enjoy that aspect of Minecraft, I enjoy this game more, if I'm perfectly honest. I feel that the at least the terraforming side of it is more engaging. I feel it's far more engaging, actually. There we are. Now, the lovely thing about Lady Sheila being a oh, can this fit? Oh, I can. Tonk. Perfect. The lovely thing about Lady Sheila being a butcher is that it allows Lady Sheila to get a decent amount of leather out of the kills that she butchers, which in turn then can be passed on to tailors. And so I just, there's so much that interplays, and I really like that, especially on the more difficult collab settings. In that you don't generate that skill points very quickly on your own, so you inevitably have to work with other people because you can't do every job yourself. And I think that's really, really cool. It's a really nice way of the game encouraging collaboration. Everything kind of plays into each other. The upgrades, which are incredibly useful. Basic upgrade is made by a logger. The level 2 upgrade is made by taking the basic upgrade and then a mason works on it. Then a level 3 upgrade is made by a carpenter. Then the level 4 upgrade is made by a potter. You need everyone working together to finish the chain. Oh, Ranger, you scallywag, you. No chopping down redwoods. Damn it, man. Why have you blocked us? Ah, there'll be no redwoods left. The plant will have no lungs. Right, is this within my bounds? Yes, we've actually pushed this quite far back. We can make a very big place here. I'm probably going to end up pulling back where I've set up some of this, because there's no reason for us to go that far back. Going a reasonable way out is fine, but there's very little reason for us to go that far back behind the place. I won't need it. For now, though, this will work. Let's bring it a little bit further to the side. Womp. There we go. And stop there. Nice little gap there between these two claims, so if someone wanted to drive a road through there, they totally can. Right. Now, where was that line? Just about here. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is place things down on this side so I can see easily that that is the case. Crush sandstone. Eventually that's going to be super useful for someone. But for now it's just in the way. Lungs are for the weak. I mean, whilst I wouldn't necessarily disagree that our fleshy lungs are not exactly the most efficient design, I kind of feel that lungs are for the weak and also for the strong. And generally speaking, for the living. There you go. Some people just want to see the world burn, it seems. Or be covered in pollution. Though, again, to be absolutely fair, it isn't as cut and dry as like, oh, if you cut down redwood trees, the game's going to end. Yeah, no, not at all. They're just a very, very useful way of keeping pollution down because they consume a lot of it. So, for example, Leafing having his pollution set up where he has, I mean, this will only really work for air pollution, but he is almost certainly going to be transitioning into that. And those redwoods around his area will do a lot of work. They will do a lot of heavy lifting in keeping that pollution from getting crazy high. Now, oh, damn it. Where is this marker? Right along there. So I can actually chop these down. Now, I've taken a couple of perks in masonry. I've gotten my, mining. Got my mining up to the point now where I can demolish a block in one hit and a basalt block in 3. Very useful, I must say. These will be useful for me because I am almost certainly going to need to repair some stone tools at some point. Having these around is very good. Put that in there. And continue digging this back. Oop. Now, the thing with the kilns is the kilns are going to need a fair amount of space to work. They're fairly large. You know what? Let's grab this. Drag you away from that plant because that plant's about to go goodbye. There we go. Grab the tile underneath it. Donk, donk. There we are. But kilns do require a fair bit of room to work in. So we're going to need this kind of shop floor to be reasonably large. Just so that we can fit all the buildings inside of it that we want. Yeah, in terms of the roads, you want the roads to be fairly big, especially if you intend any actual vehicles to go down it. People can obviously squeeze through a fairly narrow road. But if you want it to be useful later on, or even early on, just with basic carts, you want it to be 3 wide. 5 wide gives you options. 6 wide will give you very decent options, because at that point you can probably run 2 vehicles down that stretch of road in either way. So you can have 2 lanes basically. But yeah, it's if you intend it to be a main road, then a bit of planning early on can save a lot of headaches later on in having to move buildings to make things more possible. Oops, have we filled this up too much? We may have. Let's grab you and start moving them over. Come on. Pull cart, there we go. Right, let's move the stone into there. And we'll continue building this up. Damn it, lag. Yeah, we really need to clean up the server a bit. I'm going to keep harping on about that. Get used to it now, chat. Oh, yeah. Now, where did I take the claim back? Unfortunately, and this is another one of the restrictions on things like carrying larger things, like going back to the coal versus charcoal conversation. I couldn't switch to the claim tool there because my hand was full of a shovel, and I needed to be full of a shovel. So that was just the way that was going to be. I really don't think we needed this far back. So let's go ahead and redress that right now. Let's pull this one back. Move that claim. There we go. Move this claim. There we are. Yeah, we absolutely don't need it that far back.